What's up, everybody? My name is Max Whitman, and welcome to Book It Better. Right now, we're looking at the main screen of TEW 2016. For those of you who don't know what that is, it stands for Total Extreme Wrestling 2016. It's the game we'll be using to simulate our world of professional wrestling. Myself and Mr. Rodney Ogg, affectionately known as the Raw Dog, will be taking on the role of owner of WWE. Raw Dog, unfortunately, not with us today. He's still recovering from 8 hours on his couch for watching Wrestle Kingdom. He'll hopefully be joining us in future episodes. So, what will we be doing here? We'll be handling all of the company's finances, hirings, firings, creative, and all their booking. In our world here, Triple H is the owner of the WWE. We've selected him as our user character, which means he has now taken the reins from Vince McMahon and has taken over the WWE completely. We've also added ourselves into the game and made them the on-screen authorities of SmackDown and Raw. Raw Dog will be booking Raw, and I will be booking SmackDown. So we're going to be doing this sort of as a let's play / tutorial / video diary kind of thing. We have gone ahead and done our brand split. We've drafted our shows already. And before I get started with much of anything, I'd like to just shoot in. We'll take a look at our control panel here, and I'll give everybody a quick rundown on what these buttons are, what each section of this control panel does, just in case you've never played TEW before. TEW is a super in-depth wrestling booking simulator. It's all text-based. There's photos, but there's not going to be any action. It's populated with thousands of workers, each one with their own ratings and attribute points and everything, and then the game will take all that into consideration, and when you put them together, spits out a match rating or an angle rating. We'll take a look at all that when we get into actually booking SmackDown Live. We've already booked our first Monday Night Raw. We'll recap that shortly. We're sitting at Tuesday, the first week of September of 2017. Our first button here, we'll start up at the top here. So this is our email. We have nothing in our email right now. Same thing with our decisions. Some of these buttons are grayed out. That's because I'm currently at the booking screen for SmackDown Live. So these buttons won't be available to us until we finish booking that show and we move on to the next day. But here we can take a look at our roster. This is going to list everybody on our roster. In addition to this, we use a Google Sheets, an Excel document. Just makes it easier for us to track everything, but we can filter everything by gender, age, size, language, race, division, face or heel, what brand they work on, their push, the whole deal here. If we sort by brand here, if we do the Raw brand and we just pull up some main eventers, we'll pull up Raw's main eventers. They drafted to Raw. We've got AJ Styles, Cesaro, Dean Ambrose, Jinder Mahal, Kevin Owens, Randy Orton, Rusev, Sami Zayn, and Seth Rollins. If we refilter that again, rounding out their upper mid-card on the Raw side, you've got Enzo Amore, Jeff Hardy, Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows, Luke Harper, Matt Hardy, and Shinsuke Nakamura. If we go to the opposite brand here, if we go to SmackDown, we'll pull up that's the division, pull up our main eventers, and we're looking at Bray Wyatt, Dolph Ziggler, John Cena, Roman Reigns, Samoa Joe, Sheamus, and The Miz. Those attribute points that I was talking about, they're listed over here. They're broken down into 24 or so. Brawling, pure wrestling, hardcore, chain wrestling, the whole deal. The big important one that we're going to be looking at, talking about mostly, is this one right here. This is star quality. So each worker at the beginning of the game, they get a destiny roll. Basically, decides how high or what cap their attribute points will be capped at in terms of development. Star quality plays a huge role in that. So it's on a scale of 0 to 100. So for example, The Miz here, he comes in at 77, whereas John Cena, he comes in at a 97. Basically what star quality is going to do, especially in the WWE product, is that's going to automatically give them a boost to pretty much anything they do. It's going to give a boost to their angles if they're talking on the microphone. It's going to give a boost to their matches. And it's also going to help them develop faster. They'll get a morale boost. They'll get a boost. Pretty much everything based on star quality. Star quality is arguably the most important aspect, the most important attribute that you could look for in a worker. But so SmackDown's upper mid card here. We go to the upper mid card for SmackDown. We're looking at Baron Corbin, Big Cass, Big E, Braun Strowman, Finn Balor, Jimmy and Jey Uso, Kofi Kingston, and Shelton Benjamin. Our product button here, the next one that we'll talk about is our product. If we go into our product, this is basically, this is going to dictate the type of shows we put on. This is basically telling us what our fans are looking for. Now, WWE, we can change this and edit this if we'd like to. The WWE product does have a cap and a floor on certain ones. So, for example, the key feature of WWE is its mainstream product. Mainstream is this element refers to the idea of wrestling as entertainment, where matches are practically a backdrop for a soap opera. That's a key feature for WWE. We can probably lower that one notch, which would be lowering it down to heavy, but any lower than that, it's not going to let us do that because the WWE is specifically programmed for that as its product. So our key feature is mainstream. We have a medium focus on traditional. Traditional being the element refers to old school mindset of kayfabe, good versus evil storytelling. And then comedy, cult, modern, and hardcore, very, very low. Everything else is none. Realism, none. Hyper-realism, none. Pure, none. All right, basically what this is going to give us is, down here it's going to tell us what effects this product has on our fan base. For example, this definition will mean that wrestlers are rated more on popularity than performance. This is the traditional Hulk Hogan or John Cena stat, where the guys can't really wrestle all that well in a ring, but they're super popular, and so their matches are going to get high grades. It means that the fans aren't going to particularly care about how good the in-ring product is. They're going to care mostly on how popular the worker that they're seeing is. It'll make the Puro skill less effective, hardcore skill less effective, and aerial skill less effective. All our workers will expect it to have a gimmick. Our fans will not respond well to subtle gimmicks. Fans will expect to have storylines to follow. We'll have to have at least one match every show aimed at storytelling. And it will attract fans who will expect one attractive female for every 20 males on the show. Will attract fans who will be put off by risky angles. Very favorable towards getting sponsorships, and it will allow the WWE not to be rocked by wrestling industry changes. So the game will simulate a wrestling industry change, meaning is wrestling popular or not popular at that time. So this will allow us to not be rocked by that. Over here on our top left, our match ratios for our events and TVs is 80% for events and 50% for TVs. That means fans expect to see 80% matches on our events, our pay-per-views, and 50% on our TV shows. We do have a 15% kind of window to work with there. So for our events, if we're at 95%, we're good. If we're at 65%, we're good. Anywhere in between 65 and 95%, we're good. I believe we've actually turned this off. So it's still here as being as 80 and 50, but I believe we've turned strict match ratios off. And the reason we've done that is because we're going to look, and you'll see as we book our shows, we're going to look to book Raw as a more, I don't want to say strong style, but more in the light of a New Japan Pro Wrestling, where it's heavy on the match, heavy on the work rate, a lot of in-ring action, and the stories are told through the matches. And we're going to look to book SmackDown more of a traditional sense, the American WWE product, heavy on the storytelling. So we've gone ahead and disabled this, but we'll most likely be pretty much sticking to it, especially for events. SmackDown will stick to this pretty heavily. Raw, you might see a higher percentage of matches on their TV shows. Our match intensity and our match danger, on a scale of 0 to 100%, we're set at 15% and 10%. That's the WWE style. It's low impact, it's low intensity, low danger. It means our workers are going to get hurt less, but our matches might not be quite as exciting. Our face-heel divide. So I've gone ahead and disabled the face-heel divide. We'll still be using faces and heels. This just means that our fans won't really care if a face goes head-on-head with a face, and vice versa. If two heels face each other or two faces go against each other, our fan base won't care. So it does mean that if a character gets stale, we can't turn them face or heel because we don't have that divide. But our characters, through their gimmicks and through their actions, will still be clearly face or heel. This is just how our fans are going to react to it. They're not going to care if they fight each other. A weight split, that refers to the New Japan style of junior heavyweight versus heavyweight. We do not have that weight split. Our women's wrestling is a division, and our TNA levels are low. I think I'm going to turn that to none, actually. That will, and the same thing over here on our call, risque. That's what I want. Risque, I want to turn that to very low. Okay, so that means that our women on our show, they're not there for the looks. We don't have divas, we have wrestlers. So we have our own women's division, and we've turned our risque content down to very low. So we now no longer have to have any attractive females per male. We're going to have women wrestling. They're not there for shows. Our in-ring rules, real quick. Spinal impact moves are not allowed. We have that. That's a WWE rule. We're going to disable that. And matches should be scripted. Basically, this just means that the wrestlers are expect when we book the show, and we'll show that shortly. When we book the show, the scripted aspect will automatically be checked. We're going to disable that as well. So we're going to save here. The information has been saved. Storylines. So based on our current style, the WWE needs to have at least 2 storylines with more than 77 heat to meet the demands of our fans. You are currently failing this requirement and may incur penalties. You're expected to advance at least 2 storylines per show. So in here we've got all our storylines. I don't want to focus too much on it in here because we haven't really started. We're failing this because we've only shown one show, our Universal Title Hunt, which does have a 77. So we need one more storyline with a 77 heat. We will accomplish that when SmackDown airs. But basically, storylines in this game, you put the guys in, it's pretty simple, you set it up. So, for example, Dolph Ziggler snaps, right? Dolph Ziggler is tired of being overlooked and underappreciated. He wants the fans and WWE management to recognize his ability as the best in the world. Done being the guy who everyone beats on the way to the top, Dolph is in win at all costs mode. Now, if only he had an enforcer to make sure things go his way. That's the storyline that I've popped in here. We're going to start this on SmackDown when we book it. We'll end this this episode with SmackDown being booked, and we'll see how that develops. But we're going to add in the guys down here. Little spoiler alert, we've added Baron Corbin, Dolph Ziggler, and Tom Phillips as a supporting role. I add Tom Phillips because he's one of our announcers, and it basically guarantees that anything that happens with any of these guys in the ring, Tom Phillips will be announcing it, and the game will recognize it as having 2 people who are in our storyline in that angle, and it'll advance our storyline. So anytime, we don't have to have Baron Corbin and Dolph Ziggler in the ring at the same time because Tom Phillips will be announcing, and so he counts towards that. And what I'm trying to explain here is the heat of the storyline. The heat of the storyline is determined by the quality of the segments, matches, and angles that have taken place within it. A segment is considered part of the storyline if the match or angle contains at least 2 of the workers from the storyline, at least one of whom playing a major role who are not aligned with each other. So basically, Tom Phillips guarantees that anything with these guys in the ring will advance the storyline. You'll notice that Tom Phillips is in every one of my storylines as a supporting character. Our titles, you see here, we've gone ahead, we've vacated all of our titles. We'll be introducing some tournaments, excuse me, some tournaments early on, going forward to crown new champions. We felt that if we're going to redraft the whole universe, we may as well vacate our titles. We've also gone ahead and added a title. We've introduced the WWE World TV Title. That'll be represented on SmackDown brand. We've just taken the old WCW TV title, and we have unretired it, and we've renamed it the WWE World Television Title. So if you look down here, you'll see we still have the lineage of the WCW title. Teams, just going to give us a quick rundown of all our tag teams. Stables, that's the same thing. Creative meetings. Okay, so this is what the game sees as some important pieces of info that we should have. So our franchise players here, obviously number 1, John Cena. Randy Orton comes in at 2, Seth Rollins 3, AJ Styles 4, and Kevin Owens 5. It's basically ranking our top 5 most popular guys. It goes on star presence and charisma. So these are the guys that the game believes our company should be based around. It's the same thing for our next big things. The next big things are wrestlers who are likely to be the future superstars for WWE. So the game feels that Sasha Banks, Rich Swann, and Jack Gallagher will be the next big things. We don't have to push them, but the game is suggesting that they might be people that we might want to push. The same is true for Hot Prospects, where we see Dana Brooke, Grand Metalik, Sasha Banks, Jason Jordan, and Rich Swann again. Talk the talk. The guys that the game feels are our best talkers: John Cena, Triple H, Chris Jericho, Mr. McMahon, and Paul Heyman. The showstoppers. Showstoppers are the wrestlers who can take their in-ring performance up to a whole new level when they need to. That would be AJ Styles, Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, and John Cena, as well as Shinsuke Nakamura. Let's see. Our ring generals. Perhaps the most criminally underrated roles in wrestling is that of the ring general. He may not pull off the match of the night every show. He's the wrestler who can be relied on to carry even the deadest of weight to a watchable match. These are the guys with the best basics. Essentially, guys, we can put in the ring with anybody and be pretty much guaranteed that we're going to have a solid match. AJ Styles, Kevin Owens, John Cena, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Seth Rollins. Who's hot and who's not? Not really. They're listed here, but it doesn't really make a difference right now. This is basically a momentum meter, and as we play the game, we'll see this change a little bit. Our time decline. There's one opponent that no wrestler can ever truly defeat, and that's time itself. Every wrestler will eventually reach the point where age starts to take its toll. So we've got Rhino, Bobby Roode, Goldust, R-Truth, and Big Show. These guys are in a time decline. It means they'll slowly start to see their attributes declining, obviously, as they're getting a little bit older. It may take a year or two. It may happen very, very quickly. We don't really know. But it's basically the game warning us that these guys are eventually going to start to decline. And the hidden gems are guys who don't work for us, but the game thinks we might want to hire: Jay Lethal, Nicole Matthews, Rene Dupree, Madison Eagles, and Ken Carson. All right. Our show history, we'll get into that. Well, let's go through it right now. Well, let me finish with this real quick. So our show history, we'll get into that. Our announcers, that's basically just where we're going to set our announcers for our shows. Don't really need to worry about that. Chemistry, as we play the game, guys will develop chemistry. So Sasha Banks has great chemistry when fighting Bayley. We know that because they went head-to-head on Monday Night Raw this past week, and the game discovered that they have great chemistry. So their matches will automatically get a boost every time they face each other. The figurehead of our company is John Cena. So attendances are up 14%, and we're selling 55% more merchandise than normal when he's featured on a show. So it doesn't seem like he's going anywhere right now, because the 55% bonus to our merchandise sales does really nice for our pockets. Pre-booking we don't really get into. Basically, just if we decide we want to book a match for 2 months down the road, we can do that in pre-booking. I never use this. I use a Google Sheet, and it just makes it a little bit easier. Our size. Right now we're at national. We're a national size company. We've achieved this size by reaching 65 importance in 8 regions of America. You see we're at 69 across all the U.S. and 69 in Canada. The next size is international. To move to that size, we need to achieve 71% importance in 8 regions of America and have cult size in at least 3 other game areas. I believe we reach cult somewhere around 60%, maybe? I'm not sure. But international will be our next size. Right now, I'm going to limit our maximum size to national, just because that'll guarantee then that we always stay national. We never go international, no matter how high our popularity gets. It doesn't really matter for us, but this is a good thing to do if you're not quite national yet, or you're not quite ready to move up in size, because there are a lot of added costs that go into when you move up in size. There's a ton of extra costs that go into that, so it's good to limit your size sometimes, so that you can save up some cash before you make that move. I'll probably unlimit that again at some point, but I like to limit it at national just because I'm fine sitting here at the national size. I don't really have any interest right now in running in Japan or Mexico or England. Backstage. So here's our, this is what our backstage rating is. Our current backstage rating is 100%. Basically, like you see, Brock Lesnar is a negative influence, Paul Heyman's a negative influence, Sin Cara's a negative influence. AJ Styles, locker room leader. So everybody that we hire and bring in that works for us, they're going to have a negative or positive influence. Right now, our positive influences far outweigh our negative influences, so our backstage rating is 100. When that drops below 70%, we'll start incurring penalties for low locker room morale. We can set our backstage rules here. If we wanted to, right now we have it set so that no drug use, no smoking. We don't need a dress code. Catering is provided, sure. Transport is organized, okay, yeah. So we'll save that. Our medical is basically just telling us here, Darren Young, he's out for 34 days. Paige will be back in 13 days. Xavier Woods back in 27 days. And the following workers are unavailable but are not due to personal injury. So Asuka, Chris Jericho's out for 2 months, 3 weeks. He's touring with his band. Kane, 41 days because he's running for mayor. So a couple of the things there. We can also do our drug testing here. We can drug test our entire locker room. It costs whatever it costs. These buttons down here don't really worry about us too much, except maybe our finances and our production. So we don't have to worry about the national battle because right now we're the only national company in the United States. If there was another national company, we'd have to worry about national battles. But until we get there, we can just skip right over that. Our short list obviously is just that. Anybody we want to keep an eye on, we can pop in here. The blacklist is the same thing. If we don't want to see somebody, we pop them on the blacklist. Our finance is just a quick overview of what we're expecting. Right now we have $23.5 million in the bank. That should be enough to last us for quite a long time. We don't have any owner goals because we are the owner. And our production. So our production basically is just telling what our production values are, our live event experience, broadcast quality, and music. We're going to leave it all here. We got licensed music, industry standard for the broadcast quality. Some broadcasters want certain levels here. So if we had a lower, if we downgraded our music, one of our broadcasters might want us to bring that back up to licensed. None of these are red, so that means we're good to go. If any of these were red, it would mean there's a problem there. We can see our broadcaster requirements here. So let's go to, let's see, USA Network. Where's USA Network? USA Network, here we go. So they require semi-pro production values, hired pro broadcast, and in-house music. We are way above all of those. We don't have to worry about that at all. Okay, so I want to recap real quick our last show, which would be Monday Night Raw. So before we get into booking SmackDown Live, we'll just kind of go over, and I'll see if I can remember this because I was not the one who wrote this up. So let me pull up my Google Docs here, and we'll see what we got here. Okay, so here we go. So we opened up with Raw Dog announcing the title tourneys. Basically, we're going to have our first 4 matches for the Universal and IC belts. So we're going to have 4 matches on Monday Night Raw. The winners will meet in, when's our next, let's see our schedule here. Oh, I can't see our schedule. Well, Raw's pay-per-view is in 2 weeks. So the winners of these 4 matches that will happen tonight will face in a fatal 4-way at the upcoming pay-per-view for the world title, and the 4 losers will face in a 4-way match for the Intercontinental title. So the first one is Luke Harper defeating Sami Zayn. That's the first match in that tournament. Luke Harper advances to that fatal 4-way. Sami Zayn drops down. He'll advance to the Intercontinental title match. Sasha Banks defeats Carmella. Aleister Black, called up from NXT, he defeats Bo Dallas. That match received a 32 rating. Not a good match. Why is it not a good match? Aleister Black and Bo Dallas are both relatively unknown. Bayley defeats Emma. That scores a 47. Cedric Alexander defeats Akira Tozawa, Noam Dar, and Jack Gallagher. Seth Rollins cuts a promo. Seth Rollins defeats Jinder Mahal. Sasha Banks defeated Bayley for the WWE Raw Women's title. So Sasha Banks wins that first title. We had a short little 4-woman tournament here for that title. The Club defeats American Alpha. Ambrose is going to cut a promo, and then he's going to lose to Shinsuke Nakamura. Kevin Owens is going to cut a promo, and then he's going to lose to AJ Styles in the main event. Styles will close the show out with a promo. So after the first Monday Night Raw, we have Shinsuke Nakamura, AJ Styles, Luke Harper, and Seth Rollins advancing to Clash of Champions to fight for the Universal title. And Jinder Mahal, Dean Ambrose, Sami Zayn, and Kevin Owens will face at Clash for the Intercontinental title. This show only scored a 69. We had a lot of weaker angles down here. Raw Dog is admittedly new to the game. He booked this one. It's scores a 69. Not a terrible score, but it did lose us some popularity. So what we'll do now, we will move on to booking SmackDown. And then I'll walk through what's going on SmackDown Live. And then we will end this video. So I've got let me pull up my Google Docs here. All right, so we're going to go to Add Angle. So we're going to open this show up. I like to use the Freestyle Angle. The game does come with a whole lot of pre-written angles in here. If I close the filter out, we've just got a whole boatload of them. I prefer, so we got things here like a breakup of a tag team version 1, breakup of a tag team version 2. I like to just use the Freestyle Angle. It lets me write it in however I want. So we're going to call this angle. This is going to open it. It's going to be Max Whitman announcing a double elimination tournament for the WWE title starting tonight and concluding in 6 weeks at No Mercy, SmackDown's first pay-per-view. So what we're going to do is we're going to call this Max Whitman announces WWE title tourney. We're going to make this, let's just make this 10 minutes off the bat here. We have 2 hours of show time to fill. Make this 10 minutes. We can adjust the time later on. So we're going to put Max Whitman in here. And we're going to rate him on, let's rate him on let's rate him on entertainment. Alright, we're going to script him. And in that tournament, we're going to have, I have to pull up my sheet here. So we're going to have in our tournament is going to be John Cena, Dolph Ziggler, where are we? Kofi Kingston, Braun Strowman, Samoa Joe, Roman Reigns, The Miz. Let's see, do we have any more in there? So we do. Excuse me. We also have Finn Balor and Sheamus involved in this tournament, but we're only allowed to put 8 guys in here. So we're going to have to, Finn Balor and Sheamus, they'll just have to sit this side out. So we're going to rate Maximum Entertainment. Let's put John Cena on Entertainment. Let's not script these guys, actually. And then Dolph Ziggler will be rated on Entertainment. Kofi Kingston, we're going to rate these guys on overness. Braun Strowman on menace. That's how scary he is. Samoa Joe will be on menace as well. Roman Reigns on his overness, and The Miz on overness. Now, the difference between what we're rating these guys on. So if they're being rated on entertainment, that means I've got them talking on the microphone. Let's have Dolph on overness. Entertainment means they're being rated on their microphone skills. They're the ones doing the talking. Overness, they're rated on how popular they are. And menace, these two guys here, that's how intimidating they are. So Braun Strowman's a big dude. He's not going to say anything, but just his presence there is menacing. It's going to be intimidating to people. So we're going to save that, and that's going to open up our show. We have our first match here. It'll be a one-on-one, and we're going to have Neville take on Bobby Roode for the TV title. So we're going to make this, so we're going to have our TV title have a 15-minute time limit, and we're going to have this match go 12 minutes, and it is for the WWE World Television title. We're going to set Neville as our winner, and we're going to have this be an open match called in the ring, and it's going to be a decisive victory for Adrian Neville. Okay, so Neville's going to win. Neville will become the first WWE TV champion. Now we're going to have our first tournament match. And we're going to see this tournament match. We'll see Dolph Ziggler and Kofi Kingston go one-on-one. Let's call this Kofi versus Dolph tourney match. Alright. And we'll set this. We'll have that be a 10-minute match. And Dolph Ziggler is going to go over here. We're going to have this one again be an open match. Called in the ring. Decisive win for Dolph. And we'll just throw in here another singles match. We're going to have Hideo Itami, recently called up from NXT, versus Apollo Crews. Get them some TV time. And we're going to auto-name that. Let's make this a short little 7-minute match. And we're going to put Hideo Itami over here, because I really would like to start to build Itami. He's got great skills, just zero popularity in the United States. So I really would like to start building him. Let's script this match. I want to start building him as a credible threat, possibly for the United States title, definitely for the TV title at some point. But we got to get him some wins over some lower card guys. So let's see. Yeah, we're going to book him to take a victory there. Okay. We're going to have our next tournament match here, which is going to be Braun Strowman versus Bray Wyatt. We're going to let's change this actually. Let's have this be Braun versus Bray tourney. Alright. And we're going to set this. Let's have a decent match. 12 minutes there. And we're going to have Braun Strowman go over here. Again, Braun's another guy that I really want to build into a real credible thought. I'm a big Braun Strowman guy. So for me, I want to see him get some victories over some main event guys. He's in our upper mid card now. So I'm going to put him over Bray Wyatt clean here on SmackDown. Bray doesn't have any problem with that. That's good news. We're going to have a quick women's match for our women's title. So this is going to be Charlotte versus Natalya. And I think this is actually going to be a pretty good match. Both these women can really go. This is going to be for the women's title. We're going to make it let's go 8 minutes for them. It'll be for the SmackDown women's title. And we're going to put it on Charlotte. I want to have a storytelling match here. Basically, this is going to set up a story for where Charlotte is sort of chasing her dad's legacy here. We're going to call this match in the ring. Actually, no, we're not. We're going to script this match. Script it. It's going to be an open match. We already made that note. Okay. And Charlotte's going to get a decisive win. We're going to book Charlotte sort of as a face here. Again, we don't use the face-heel divide, but we're going to sort of book her as a face. Let's save that one. Alright, we need to book at least 46 more minutes. So we may have to... Well, we're at 69 minutes. We need to book up to 125. So we got another hour or so that we can book. And let's see... The Usos. Alright, so we're going to have a tag team title match here. And it's going to be a 4-way tag team. Let's go to our teams here. We are going to book the Usos versus Breezango, the Bollywood Boys, and the Ascension for the SmackDown Tag Team titles. And we're going to make this a 10-minute match. And we're going to let's put Jey Uso as the winner. And the loser taking the final fall. Let's make that Tyler Breeze. We're going to have an open match, script it, and that'll be a decisive win as well. Actually, you know what? Let's make it a tainted win. So a tainted win specifies that although the loser gets beaten, he has an excuse for the loss, as his opponent cheated to win. Using this note slightly lessens the loser's popularity loss, and also slightly lessens the winner's gains as well. The title will still change hands. Alright, so we're going to taint that finish. Basically, it means that the Usos won't gain as much popularity from this win, but Breezango won't lose as much popularity either. And we're going to save this, and the Usos will be winning our tag team titles. Let's just have a filler match here. We're going to have Baron Corbin. I want to get him some TV time. And he's going to go over Ty Dillinger. This is going to be a pretty short match. Let's make this a 6-minute match. Baron Corbin gets the win. And we're also going to keep Baron Corbin strong. It's going to be scripted. And it's going to be a decisive win here. Let's save that. Okay. Now we're going to have Baron Corbin cut a promo here, which is probably a terrible idea because Baron Corbin sucks at cutting promos. But we are going to have him... We're going to have him talk about how he's pissed. Corbin is pissed that he was disrespected by not being put in the world title tourney. So basically, Baron Corbin thinks that he should be in the world title tournament. He's pissed. He's not happy. And he's going to let everybody know about it. We're going to give him 5 minutes to kind of get that off his chest. Rate him on his entertainment skills. We're definitely going to script him. This angle's probably not going to score very high, but we'll see. Alright, so now we're going to add another angle here. So freestyle, we're going to have John Cena in the ring here. So let's put John Cena has come out to the ring. He's cutting a promo. Cena is talking about how he will defeat Braun Strowman next week and send him to the losers bracket. I should have had our tournament bracket up here before I started this so that you could see where we're standing. I will have that up the next show that we book. That'll make this a little bit less confusing. But we're going to give him 8 minutes on the mic. And then we're going to have Braun Strowman come out. And we're just going to rate him on his intimidation factor. We're going to rate him on menace. So basically what's going to happen is Cena says he's going to send Braun to the losers bracket. Oh, you can't write that, too much. It says he will defeat him next week. And Braun stares him down. So Braun's ready for a fight. So is John Cena. We're going to see that next week on SmackDown Live. We'll have another angle here. Alright, another freestyle angle. We're going to have Dolph Ziggler. He's backstage gloating. Right? Dolph is gloating about his win. But Roman Reigns arrives and warns him about next week. So if I had our bracket up here, you would see that, and that would make more sense. But Roman Reigns and Dolph Ziggler will face off in next week, in the next round of the tournament. So we're going to rate both these guys on entertainment, and we're going to script both of them. Reigns isn't so great on the mic. Dolph's okay, but we'll script him just to be on the safe side. Roman Reigns is letting you know that he'd prefer to work without a script. So, you know what? Okay. I think they can both handle it then. We'll let them both work without a script. Let's see. Now we're just going to have a random women's match here. So I think I'll do a 3-way women's match. Select the wrestlers here. Let's filter by women and exclude anyone that was already booked. So we're going to have Alexa Bliss versus Mickie James versus Tamina. And let's have that be 8 minutes long. And we're going to put, let's put Mickie James over. Mickie James is going to get the win, and we're going to put her over Tamina. We don't want Alexa Bliss to take the loss. Alright. Okay, so we want The Miz to cut a promo now. Miz cutting a promo. Samoa Joe arrives. They'll meet in the main event tonight. Alright, let's make this 5 minutes, 6 minutes long. The Miz is cutting. Samoa Joe arrives. We'll rate them both on entertainment. Neither one of them need to be scripted. Alright. Let's see. Now we have a match. We're definitely going to have to cut some time here. So we're going to add a match here. This is another tournament match. We're going to book Finn Balor versus Sheamus. We're going to save that. Let's just give them 8 minutes. Finn Balor is going to pick up the win here. Open match. We're going to call it in the ring. And it'll be a decisive victory. Okay. After that match, Sheamus beats down Balor. That's right here. So Sheamus is pissed that he lost. He's going to give Finn Balor a good beatdown. Sheamus, Finn Balor. We're going to rate Finn Balor on his selling, because he's selling a good beatdown here. And would Menace work? Does that make sense to book him on his Menace? Where's his Menace rating? Yeah, let's do that. We're going to book him on his Menace. Okay, and then our main event is Samoa Joe versus The Miz. Now we're going to book this one to be, this is going to be a 12-minute long, and we are actually going to put The Miz over Samoa Joe. It's going to be an open match called in the ring. This will be a tainted win because we want to have a manager interference finish. Here we go. So Maurice is going to help The Miz win this match. We're going to save that one. Alright, so we need to cut 32 minutes in order to proceed with our show here. So we need to, there are a few options that we have here. So Neville versus Bobby Roode, of course. Let's bring that one down. That can be an 8-minute match. We'll save that. This match can definitely come down. We'll make that an 8-minute match. Oh, no, I can't. Looks like it has to be a 10-minute match. Okay. Where can we cut? Where can we cut? Kofi versus Dolph. Let's make that an 8-minute match.